Hello, welcome back to our video. So let's just continue our given source code here. So let's close this one. So let's say, for example, we are to change the condition because we want this statement to execute, these statements to execute rather, then we just need to make the statement false. Alright, so let's click build and run. Therefore, as you can see it, we are executing, or we executed the statements coming from the if block, right? So the two statements here written in line 14 and 15 were executed by our compiler, and right after it ignored the whole block of the else statements that contains statements that will make that will be executed if in case this condition is false, and it jumped right away to the line number 27, which is outside both blocks. Alright, so that is how if else conditions work. So by the way, this will also work if your data is unknown, by the way. So if in any case you don't know the value of your variable, therefore you want the user to enter the data manually, then you can just do the same with your user input by using the scanner class. So import java.util.scanner, and then let's create the object of our scanner class. So let's say, for example, console and new scanner, and we add here the syntax parameter system.in inside our constructor, and right after we are to give a prompt to our user indicating that we are asking a number. So let's say, for example, hey user, enter a number, something like that. And then we are to use this variable here because once again this variable is intended to hold numerical data in order to be measured here within our conditions. Alright, let's type my number equals console.nextInt. Alright, so we're using .nextInt method. That is because this variable has been declared as integer, as what we can see in line number 10. Alright, and that makes our statement looks good. Alright, so let's click build and then run, and let's see what will be the output for a given numbers for our program. So hey user, enter a number. Let's say, for example, we are to enter number 1000 here. So 1000, that will makes the statement of the if block not equal to 100, right? So if you can see, that will make the statement true. Therefore we can expect the output of our entry will be the statements coming from line number 20 and line number 21, and our program is going to ignore the statements belonging to the else block and then just jump right away to line number 13. Alright, so to check it, let's just press enter. Alright, so as you can see, the value of my number is equal to 10, which is this output is coming from this block here. Alright, so to have this one grammatically correct, so let's change the statement. So the value of my number is not equal to 100. Alright, and if block is being executed, and as for the else block, everything looks good. So let's just click build and run again just to see grammatically correct output. So let's enter 101. So 101 is not equal to 100, right? So the value of my number is not equal to 100. The if block is being executed and then the program ended. Alright, so since the statement is true because the entered number is not equal to 100, therefore we got the statements here. So if we enter the exact value, which is 100, that is for the given condition, then we are going to expect that the statements belonging to line number 28 and 29 will be executed instead. Alright, so to show it, let's just click build and then run again, and let's give this time the exact value given for our condition. Let's say, for example, we have data 100. So the condition is not true. Alright, because our condition, if it happens that my number is not equal to 100, then all statements in the if will be executed, right? Therefore, it jumped to the else blocks and executed the statements inside the else blocks instead. Alright, so the condition is not true, the else block is being executed. Alright, so that is once again how if block statements works. And let's have another example, by the way. So here, let's going to write a program that will check if the given number is an odd number or an even number. Alright, so let's just write the statement here of our problem. So write a program that will check if the given number is odd or even. Alright, so the formula for this one, by the way, is that if it happens that if the number n is divisible by 2 and it equates to 0, that means this given number is an even number. Alright, but if it happens that the given number, we divided it with 2 and it will not equate to 0, then that means the number is not even, therefore it's odd number. Alright, so to write it in our program, so we can just need to modify our condition here using appropriate operators. Alright, so we will just make use of these statements here, and with our existing variable my number, we are using this one to catch input from the user. Alright, since we are to check the number given if it is odd or even, so it is going to depend on our if condition. I mean, the output will depend on the condition of our program. Alright, so let's type if here and then let's open and close the statement. So how are we going to create this statement? Is it's going to be like this. So my number, we are to divide it by 2, and if it happens that it equates to 0, alright, so by the way, we can do this one. If you notice, we use 2 operators here, right? So we use mathematical operator division or arithmetic operator division, and also in addition we added this comparison operator, which is 0. Alright, so to make our condition concisely correct, we need to isolate this operation here with a curly brace. So this will make our statement correct or concisely correct, because what is going to happen is this. So this statement enclosed in the parentheses will be executed first, wherein we are going to check if the number is divisible by 2. And by the way, the appropriate, by the way, is to use the operator modulo. Alright, so that means if we are to divide this whole number here, alright, with 2, and we got the result of 0, that means remainder. By the way, modulo is for remainder. It is one of the operators, arithmetic operators in our programming. Yeah, not just in C, by the way, it's also available to any programming language. So this operator will check if it will check for remainder, to put it simply, right? So if it happens that this number, if we are to divide it with 2 and it will have no remainder, then we are to say the number is even, right? So else, if it will not result to 0, that means the number is odd, right? So the number is odd. Alright, so to check it, let's click build, and then let's run our program. Alright, so hey user, enter a number. So let's say for example we are to enter a data, let's say for example number 2. Number 2 is an even number, right? So let's press number 2 here and press enter. Alright, so the number is even, the program ended. Alright, let's have another example. So how about number 10? So 10 is another even number. Alright, so the number is even, the program ended. Alright, and then another example for the odd. So let's say for example, we have number 9 here, because there is a remainder if we are to divide to 2 the numerical number 9, right? So alright, so the number 9 is odd. Alright, so let's have another example here. How about number 3? Alright, so the number is odd. And lastly, numerical number 5. Okay, numerical number 5 is odd. And last, one more, number 7. Alright, so the number is odd. So you just have to use this formula, by the way. So we divided it using the modulo to check if there will be remainder or not if we are to divide the two variables, I mean the two data. Alright, if it results to having no remainder, so I wrote here 0, then that means the given number is even, because there's no remainder, right? So if there is a remainder, then the number given is an odd number. Alright, so aside from having a single if and a single else, we can also have multiple conditions. We can create scenarios wherein we have multiple conditions. Alright, so to show you as an example, let's erase our code here and let's have another sets of different conditions. So we can have like a single condition here in our if block. So if it happens that our my number variable holds on, so for example 50, then we are to display here the output. The value entered is 50, right? Is 50 is equal to 50, something like that. And in addition, we can use else if. Then we have another block. If we are to use if else here using these two reserved keywords, then that means we can add another condition here, because in real life programming mostly we are going to deal with different conditions. Alright, so let's type my number. If it happens that my number is greater than 50, then we are to add the appropriate output here. System that out the print line, and then the value entered is greater than 50, and then if it's not greater and if it's not equal to, then that means it is less than. So let's create our else here. System that out the print line, and then the value entered is less than 50. Alright, so let's explain our code here. So we, in this statement coming from line number 19, this is where we're going to ask for the user input after the prompt that is written in line number 18, right? So this program will not proceed not until this statement is going to accept a number. And right after the number is being entered by the user, it will then be measured first by our if block with a given condition. Alright, if it happens the condition is true, it will jump, it will going to execute the statements or statements, because everything here, if we are to write anything or we are to add another statements here in this block, will also be executed. Then it will be displayed as an output only this block, because this condition is true, and it's going to ignore everything here in the else if and in else block. Alright, so if it happens that the condition is not true, then it's going to check the second time the given condition here. Alright, so if this statement becomes true, then this will be executed and it will ignore the block, this block here, and then just jump right to the line number 44. Alright, and if it happens that the condition inside if and else if is not true, then obviously the statement belonging to the else block will be executed. Alright, let's show it. Let's show our output by pressing play button here. So hey user, enter a number. Let's say for example, let's make the statement true for the if blocks to check if the statements belonging to else if block will not be executed. Alright, so just enter the data 50. So the value entered is equal to 50. Alright, the program ended. So if you notice, we just got here this statement and then ignore the 2 blocks, and then we got this one as an output wherein it includes the program ended string, and it's being displayed in the output console. Alright, and let's run it again. The second time, let's try to check our else if condition. Let's give a number that is greater than 50. Let's have 51. So the value entered is greater than 50, and then if you notice, it ignored the whole block of else once again and displayed line number 44, which is the program ended. And let's have the third one. So let's enter a value that will make the 2 conditions false. So let's not enter a value that is equal to 50 and greater than to 50. Alright, once again, hey user, enter a number. Let's have like 49. 49 is not equal to 50, and also it's not greater than 50. So obviously we will get as output the statement belonging to the else block. So the value entered is less than 50, the program ended. Right, so that is how we manipulate our data depending on different conditions. So by the way, we can add limitless number of else if here if you just know what are the conditions you are to make. So we can just add another else if condition here. Say for example, if the value is greater than or equal to 50, by the way. Right, so you can do it, and you can display here the value is something like that. By the way, it's going to cause a conflict, because if it happens you enter number 50 as your data, then this block will be executed, and then it's going to ignore all the blocks here. Alright, it's going to ignore all the blocks here because this makes the data correct or true, this condition true. Right, so to show it, let's click run. So let's enter 50, by the way. So the value entered is equal to 50. So if you notice, this statement here is true, right? Because the entered number is 50, and it didn't came to other condition. I mean, it didn't check other conditions here. Right? So because the number 50 entered will also make this condition true, correct? Right, because although it's not greater than 50, but it's still equal to 50, right? So one thing, my point is that with if and else if conditions, you need also to consider that if it happens that one of the conditions is true, then it's going to ignore everything. Alright, it will ignore the other blocks of conditions, and then it will just jump right away to the remaining statements belonging within the source code. Right, so if you have any other questions and there is something you want me to clarify in this video, so just feel free to comment it in the comment section. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you to the next video. Have a nice day. Goodbye for now.